What's going on, Panthers fans? Got a loaded show for you on today's edition of Panthers Today by Chat Sports. As Carolina went and re-signed a key player for this team and locker room itself. Also, ESPN dropped a big-time trade rumor and proposal that makes sense for your Carolina Panthers and the team they'd be dealing with in a trade. Let's just dive right in to who the Panthers brought back, if you recognize that face. Yes, JJ Jansen back with the Carolina Panthers. It wouldn't be a Carolina Panthers season without JJ Jansen on the squad, entering his 18th season as the Panthers long snapper. He's played in all 277 of his career games with the Carolina Panthers. That is more than any player in league history. He is the most games played as a Carolina Panther, and he just turned 40 years old, so he is by far the oldest member of this Carolina Panthers roster. But I understand, it's just a long snapper. It doesn't mean all that much. It means more than you think. We're going to break it down in just a moment. But this is why you subscribe to the channel. Go down below, hit that subscribe button for free Panthers content all the time. And look, this is just the first re-signing, the first big roster move of the Panthers offseason. They are going to trickle in a lot more over the next month or so. So when the Panthers make moves, we're making videos for you here on the channel. Go down below, hit that subscribe button for free Panthers content all offseason long. All right, so JJ Jansen comes back, and I assume he's going to be wearing that captain patch once again. Including 2025, JJ Jansen is a three-time team captain of the Carolina Panthers here, somebody who's just very well respected on this roster through multiple eras, not only like the Cam Newton era, the Ron Rivera, all the way to the Matt Rule, and now into the Dave Canales era of the Carolina Panthers. He's been through thick and thin. He's just one of two Carolina Panthers to have ever played postseason football with this franchise. So he offers that unique perspective of what it takes to get to that next level and to get to a deep run in the NFL year that a lot of these Panthers on the roster, a lot of young guys don't really have. So I think already an invaluable re-signing, bringing back somebody with that expertise and experience. Now, on the technical side of things, in terms of what JJ Jansen actually brings on the football field, well, the Panthers were one of the better special teams units in all of football last year. They were actually the best punting unit in the National Football League, because there's really only one stat that matters in terms of punts. It's your net yards on average. And the Panthers were one of the best. They were the best in all of the NFL last season. Sam Martin averaged 54 yards per punt. Yes, 54 yards per punt. That's number one in all of football. And it would make sense if the Carolina Panthers are saying, hey, we should probably want to bring back Sam Martin. It would make sense to bring back the guy that he has excellent chemistry with in that snap game. It's an underrated aspect of football, the relationship between long snapper and punter, long snapper and holder, which is usually the same guy here. So bringing back JJ Jansen makes a lot of sense if you remember Joseph Person saying this was a priority for the Carolina Panthers to bring back both of these special teams demons. So still, there are players that they'd like to have back, including Sam Martin and long snapper JJ Jansen, and others expected to draw at least some level of interest elsewhere. So they've one stone, done. We're good. So this is also something that clearly both sides wanted. I think Jansen himself had come out and said, there's nowhere else I'd rather be than Carolina. I want to see this thing all the way through. And I also want to see it get to that next level and be able to get to the mountaintop where he was and reaching a Super Bowl just 10 years ago. More from Jansen here about his return to Carolina and his playing in the postseason with them this past season. He said, I never had a doubt that we'd make it back. I've sort of told myself for a while now that I want to be part of it again. And I was part of the John Fox era, the Ron Rivera, all the way to the Super Bowl run. And even the wild card in 2017, that was still the same team. And I've always said I wanted to be a part of one more full run all the way up. So now we'll see how long we can make this run go. Hopefully it ends in 4 wins. But this team's still got a lot of climbing to do. And it's a good group, and I want to be a part of the full climb. So I never had a doubt that I wouldn't get back to a playoff game. And I still think I've got plenty more in my future. So like I said, They kill one bird with one stone. Let's get the other bird done now as well. Get Sam Martin back in the fold here and bring him back as the Panthers punter. Look, I get it. You don't want to be punting, but if we are, I want to be winning those field position battles more often than not. The combination of Jansen and Sam Martin get us there. And kind of back to beyond the football field here, JJ Jansen is as respected as it gets in the locker room. Not only from his teammates, from past teammates as well. I think Luke Kuechly came out and said, well, isn't that awesome? Well, would you look at that? JJ Jansen back again with the Carolina Panthers, leading them and being a mentor in that locker room. It's not only the players, but it's also the coaching staff that recognizes his leadership quality as well. Tracy Smith, the Panthers special teams coach, had this to say about JJ Jansen. saying he really helps the team. He has embodied the captain role and taken it seriously, and he really kind of makes it part of his daily mission to help his teammates any way he can. Happy to have him. That's the type of continuity that you need to have. And I get it. He's been here for the good, the bad, the ugly of the past, 2 decades, basically. But this is the type of continuity, the type of leadership, the type of just person in general that you want to keep a part of the organization to help get you over the top. Because you're not going to get to the mountaintop. You're not going to get to the Super Bowl. You're not going to get to these big postseason wins without guys like this who have been through the ringer, have been through the worst, have been through the best, and know how to, explain that and give his teachings to the rest of these young players coming up on this roster. Because like he said, he wants to go with one more full run. We're at the beginning. We're overachieving right now. We're still kind of at the beginning. So maybe a couple more years for JJ Jansen here if the Panthers want to just fully establish themselves as a perennial powerhouse in this league. With that being said, if you're happy the Panthers brought back JJ Jansen, a fan favorite, a team captain, a guy who's just been in this locker room, a facet of the Carolina Panthers over the last 2 decades, do one thing for me. Go down below, hit that thumbs up icon if you are happy that JJ Jansen is back. All right, now we got to break down the juicy stuff. Maybe the reason that you might have clicked on this video to begin with, ESPN proposing a major trade for your Carolina Panthers. Now, when you see these trade proposals on the internet from all these different outlets, third-party stuff, like usually they're bogus. Usually they're just making stuff up for the point of clicks. But this article dropped by ESPN was a trades that make sense for both sides of the equation. So they brought up the Carolina Panthers and making a trade for a playmaker. That playmaker being Michael Pittman Jr. A trade with the Indianapolis Colts here from Bill Barnwell over at ESPN. The Panthers would receive Michael Pittman Jr. and a 2026 7th-round pick. The Colts would receive a Xavier Legette and 2026 5th-round pick. So really not too much here going back and forth. It would just be Pittman and a pick swap, basically, for a guy who, in Xavier Legette, that's just really never going to seem to work out with Carolina here. Just not a great fit. It doesn't really seem like it's going to get anywhere else with Carolina, so might as well find him a new home here with the Indianapolis Colts. And look, there's a reason why the Indianapolis Colts would want to trade Michael Pittman. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But here's Bill Barnwell breaking down the trade from Carolina's point of view, saying all of Pittman's 2026 salary is non-guaranteed. So Indy could cut him if needed. He would have some modest trade value as a wide receiver 2 for teams that aren't spending a ton on their passing game, though the Panthers fit that bill there, as Bryce Young, Jalen Coker, and Ted McMillan are all on their rookie contracts. The 6'4" Pittman would be another big target in a Panthers wide receiver room full of them, and Pittman's work underneath would allow McMillan more freedom to work from the slot and at the immediate and deep levels of the field. So I actually had read this wrong originally. I said a second is a bit rich. But now that I look back on that, I mean, they're only giving up a 5th-round pick in order to get Michael Pittman Jr. That's pretty substantial. And, look, Pittman's absolutely going to help. But in terms of the underneath and opening things up, vertically, it's not just Michael Pittman that's going to be a big-time vertical threat down the field, because usually that's not really the case with his game. But that's going to open up so much more for Ted McMillan, Jalen Coker to be those deep threats in this Panthers offense. Pittman Jr. is absolutely a threat with the ball in his hands, absolutely a threat to get open and find soft spots in the zone underneath and in that short to intermediate part of the football field. So, yeah, he would totally bring a completely different element to this Carolina Panthers offense. And look, for the Colts' point of view, they're going to have to choose between Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman Jr. And look, as the seasons have kind of gone along, you've seen Alec Pierce be a more and more productive member of this Colts offense. He's a free agent this offseason. He's going to be commanding maybe $20+ million, $25 million a year. It would make sense for Indianapolis if they were to bring him back to move off of one of their bigger contract guys in Pittman Jr. Now, Pittman's a guy who, he's been regressing, you could say, over the past few years, but there's been a lot of subpar quarterback play in Indianapolis. This is a guy who's still a big 6'4" frame, can get open, can make catches, contested at the catch point, has good body control along the sideline as well if you want to get some toe tap grabs along the out of bounds line too. The numbers aren't gaudy, but he did have 7 touchdowns in 2025 for a Colts passing offense that was very, very overrated. Let's be honest with Daniel Jones back there. Guy's really never had under 800 yards in his career. We're not going to sit here and ask him to be the number 1 receiver in this Carolina offense, but he could absolutely put up these numbers, and that would elevate that unit for Carolina moving forward. look, regardless of if it's Michael Pittman Jr. or somebody else, like for me, a priority is to add another starting weapon to this offense. If you guys watched our mock draft video a couple days ago, I had Kenyon Sadiq going to the Panthers here at pick 19. Like, you want to make Bryce Young's life as easy as possible. He's not a quarterback that, at this moment in time, elevates the talent around him. So you're going to need people to help make life easier and just simpler for Bryce Young getting the football out. Michael Pittman Jr. absolutely fits that bill. You get Tet, you get Coker, you get Pittman, and then you know what? Maybe you don't need to go after a guy like Kenny Sadiq who could focus the draft more to defense and other areas of need on this Panthers team here. With that being said, what do you guys think? Would you make this trade? Michael Pittman Jr. in the 7th, that's what we get, for Xavier Legette in a 5th. I really don't think it's too much to ask here. It's a pretty simple pick swap, and you're kind of just taking out a bigger contract here. If you're Carolina, they have the room to do it. I'd be all in favor. A for accept, D for decline. Comment down below what you guys think, as that will do it for today's show. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/Panthers Today, for the latest and greatest on your Carolina Panthers all offseason long. See you guys next time, and as always, keep pounding.